So, okay, Pam,
on her soapbox.
as we were discussing about the foam.
So most floral designers will use floral foam. It's a green foam brick material that you soak. The main binding ingredient of that is formaldehyde. As we all know, it's a known carcinogen. You're touching it as a florist, you're touching it day in and day out. You're then going to give it to your client who might touch it when they take the arrangement apart. And then ultimately it's going to go into a landfill. It's not biodegradable, it's full of chemicals, so it's just not a nice thing to work with. I also find that when you design with it, the design looks a lot stiffer than if you don't design with it. So I really feel strongly about not using floral foam. I also feel strongly about mulching all of your floral waste, and most floral designers do not do that.
Composting, you mean?
Yeah, composting. So we have a composting service. There are bins in the trash room. All of the restaurants in this building are also composting unused food or spoiled food. And so all of our stems go into buckets and then they go out into the compost, whereas most floral designers will throw it all in the trash.
Yeah.
And that's a huge issue. So when you
and the stuff that wouldn't biodegrade is going with the stuff that is biodegradable,
right, it's all trash.
Yeah.
So ultimately, when you go to a florist that's thinking in that way, even though you might not be buying 100% organic, if they're thinking in a green way, what you're buying, you know, every bit of it has gone. That's waste is going into the mulch. When flowers die, it'll go into the mulch. That kind of idea.
Well, I noticed you had the sign that said all our stems are composted.
Yes.
What are you finding from a designer's point of view? The fact that you're not using that florist foam, it doesn't seem like you're restricted.
No, and
restricted.
when we teach our classes, we
Yeah.
teach people how to do that too, to set up a grid of stems, starting in with your foliage so that you can support the other blossoms. So it really is physics, and you're creating a structure in the same way that you would with foam. You're creating a structure. Some people like to use floral frogs as well, and if you're designing at home, that works great. If you're in a shop, floral frogs are a little impractical.
Yeah.
But just setting it up so that you don't need those types of things.
Why did that become so popular? Do you think it's just was sort of a lazy mass production model?
I think it probably was something that came about in the 50s and people just stuck with it. You know, you can make something look much bigger and much more expensive for less money.
Okay.
An arrangement that is done by hand, not in foam, has a lot of stems in it. And so a lot of times when you go to a designer that is doing a fresh arrangement, it might be more expensive than an FTD style arrangement. And that's because they're using a lot more stems to complete it.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And you're just designing with this sort of, I don't know, gathered from the garden or gathered from the woods or gathered from the fields look.
Yes.
And for example, like this, it's really just a lush textural explosion. And there's probably, what, 20 stems in there?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're right, if you had a little brick of foam and you stuck a bunch of like 2-inch long roses in there,
right,
I guess it would look full, but not as interesting. I love the fact that you have the celosia in there. It's so velvety. Well, thank you, Pam. That's great. And I believe in everything you said, and I love that you shared it straight from the designer. Thank you.